Right. Well, thank you all for taking the time to meet up this morning. Before we get started asking some questions, I figured we'd go around and each of us introduce ourselves. My name is Natalie Hawks. I am the graduate apprentice in campus recreation and wellness. And I am in my first year as a graduate student in the Masters of Higher Ed program at Elon.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Mark Eads. I'm from the Counseling Center. I'm one of the staff counselors there, and I'm also the group therapy coordinator at the Counseling Center.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charlotte Williams, one of the associate directors within Campus Recreation and Wellness.
Hello, I also work in Campus Recreation and Wellness. My name is Carly Bueller. I am the coordinator of recreation for fitness and aquatics.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being here again. Figured we'd just jump right into some questions that we've generated over the course of the past couple of weeks. A lot of students have a lot of questions and are looking for answers during this rough time. So my first question is, during this time of change, nearly all of us are not able to do what we used to do while at Elon in our daily routines, such as walking to class, eating lunch with friends, going to the fitness center, etc. So what approach should we take during this time?
So that is a great question. Certainly, I think we're all feeling it, that the typical routines that we once had when we were all on campus, it's not quite working for us the same way now. And there's been a drastic shift in what we need to do now. So for me, thinking about it from more like the mental health side and how to approach it from that direction, there's kind of two things to keep in mind. There's the feeling of, boy, I've lost a lot of my old routine, and that's hard to be sitting with, and absolutely to acknowledge that this is weird and strange and confusing, and all of that is absolutely true. And on the other side too is to accept that just because I'm in a new spot or I have to develop a new routine that I'm not used to, doesn't mean I can't find some things that I can find fulfilling for myself, or some things that I can find meaningful. So I like to think of it sort of like two sides, that yes, this is rough and that's going to be tough to sit with at times. And now that I'm where I'm at with the technology and people and whatever I have at my disposal, what can I do with the things that I do have to try to make the most out of where I am? So thinking about it more of, what can I do with what I got? I feel like that's going to be very helpful for myself and a lot of students that I've been talking to.
I think that's great, Mark. I'll pick right up and piggyback on that. One of the things that I've been reminded of is that concept of locus of control, LOCUS, locus of control. And it really looks at what we can control, what we can influence, and what we can't control. And I really had to be reminded of that. And I'm grateful that I can work from home and have this opportunity. So just even framing my mindset of, no, not I have to work from home, but I'm grateful that I still have a job and that I have the opportunity to work from home. And then even looking at, you know what, I can control that. No, I'm not going to work in my pajamas or work in my at-home clothes. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to spruce myself up, as one of my friends challenged me. She said, no, ma'am, spruce yourself up. And, you know, really enjoy and act like I'm working for real. And it makes a difference in how I feel and flow for the day. And the other thing that I focused on was I wasn't going to use this time as an opportunity to sabotage my fitness and wellness routines and regimens, but no, I'm going to still work out. I'm going to still cook healthy. I'm not going to sit around and eat quarantine snacks all day. So just, I think really, whatever our personality is, putting that into this time and controlling what we can and knowing what we can't. I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken away. And so as far as students, I would think about the fact that you can control who and who you don't let into your online space and your atmosphere and those boundaries. And you can control getting up and doing your schoolwork in a setting that works for you, whether you're going to put your clothes on and kind of get ready for the day or just roll out of bed. So that's what I would say, just the thinking of the concept of locus of control and what we can control, what we can influence, and what we can't for our overall wellness and well-being.
And I will piggyback off of that. I think it's great to focus on what we can control, but it's also important to realize that what we are controlling right now isn't what maybe we were always controlling in the past, that you have to kind of let some things go. So speaking from the fitness side, and I've always been like super into fitness, and that's my saving grace right now. And I realize that's other people's, even if it's just going out for a walk. But I've taken more naps in these past 4 weeks than I have in the past like 4 years, like seriously. And if I don't know, like it's okay to just feel what your body's feeling and your mind's feeling that day and go with it, because everything's different right now and you can't do everything, and you're certainly not going to do what your roommate's doing, your best friend's doing, or what you think you should be doing. When it comes to being physically active right now, I've seen a lot of people frustrated because they think that they have to do more than they did in the past. They have to keep the same exact routine as they had in the past. They have to do what their best friend is doing because it's working so well for them. But it's a point to sit back and realize what is going to be right for you. And it's not a time to compare with what anyone else is doing. And you know your body more than anything. So it could be a time to try new things as well. But there's a lot of uncertain waters that it's okay to navigate right now.
Thank you all so much for your input. We really appreciate it. I'm interested in hearing, what are you all doing personally in your lives to kind of maintain normalcy?
I can share, Natalie. One of the things that I've really taken advantage of is the different free workout and fitness routines online. I know that my gym in Greensboro actually is online and providing content. So I've taken advantage of that. And also the other opportunities out there, like the Nike apps, the Active apps, all the different resources we've listed on the website as well. And I think we can share that at the end of this. And then I've also enjoyed being creative in the kitchen and having that outlet. It's really stress relief for me and therapy for me as well. So just being able to get in the kitchen and try different recipes and cook, mess up a few, and do well on others, that's been great for me as well.
I've been really trying to take advantage of the idea of, why not try something else? So I've thought, I've always wanted to make a garden in my backyard. Why not try it out and see what I can do? So I did that the other day and thought I may as well just take a few minutes, and was listening to a webinar while I was putting a raised garden bed in my backyard for the first time, and thought I'm going to give this a go. So for me, it's the same thing, taking advantage of the idea this is not going to be anything that I anticipated before, but at the same time, that means maybe I can try some new things that I never would have in the past. So that's just the most recent thing I've done, is just to say, why can't I take a little bit of time to do something I never would have done?
I think that's a good point to bring up, because when I came into quarantine, and I actually chose to work from home 2 weeks before the stay-at-home order went about. So I'm in week 5, and I'll be honest, I'm going a little stir crazy because I'm a huge extrovert. But going into this, I was like, I'm going to get all of these online courses completed that I had signed up for already, with hopes of, I would have the whole summer to do them. And I came into it and I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to get them completely done, because I thrive in learning online in settings that I don't actually have in my home. So like, I'm just slowly trugging away at them. And I think that's absolutely okay to realize that. I was like, oh, I also had access to learn a free language I was just playing around with before quarantine. I was like, maybe I'll do that. No, that's not happening either, because that is not where I'm thriving right now. And I am giving myself grace and not doing what I thought it would be before quarantine, which I think a lot of people did think that they're going to have all this time and they're going to try all these new things. But, Mark succeeded in trying his garden, but maybe there was something else he wanted to do that he couldn't do as well, because there's just different ways that our minds are working. So I am in fitness, so I have completely resorted to more fitness in a healthy way, just like more walks with my dogs outside, more runs than I used to go on. I think that the vitamin D is probably my saving grace right now because I'm so thankful I live in North Carolina and have access to do all the outside stuff. But like Charlotte said, there is a lot of online resources for wellness and physical fitness, and it's been nice to kind of play around with that, including some that our Elon fitness instructors are putting out. But there's so many. Like if you go online on Instagram and it's like 10 a.m., so-and-so is live. Like everybody is live right now. Which one do you choose? Sometimes I just kind of pick whichever one is right in front of me and I just go with it. So a lot of extra fitness, a lot of extra walks with the dogs. And like I said already, a little bit more naps.
Yeah, I forgot that. I've been resting. Rest is great for wellness. And I love what Carly said. We have to give ourselves grace. And not only that, but everyone around us too, virtually and those in our households. Just being more patient with each other, but also with ourselves. And I love what Mark said. Why not? Why not try?
And I think it's important to be transparent about that in all of this. Just speaking with my instructors a lot lately, talking about how there are days where I have bad days and it's okay to talk about that. And people are like, I'm so thankful that you said it because I was thinking it. But people don't know what you're thinking unless you have a way to let it out. And it could be in the form of a journal. I've tried that a little bit. It could be talking to your best friend, somebody, but I'm trying to make sure to be transparent with all of it because there's no way it's going to get better bottled up inside my head.
I like the idea of the bad days too. Boy, there are a bunch of them, you know? So I think that's something that caught me by surprise, thinking that I'm going to have all this time. I'm going to be able to just do everything that I set my mind to because I got nothing but open space in front of me. And then all of a sudden I get there and it's, you know, a little bit harder than I was anticipating to have so much freedom and keeping my mind sort of, you know, focused when I wanted to. And some days it just ain't going to work that way. So some days it doesn't, some days it's a little bit better. So I think that's something that I've noticed too, is that when I'm having a decent day, take advantage of it. When it just isn't working, well, that's just the way it is. That's all right.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for your input. It was really, really nice to hear what each of you had to share. Is there any last comments or recommendations you have for not only students, but faculty and staff as well?
There is one thing that always comes up because like Charlotte said, she's been using online resources. I've been using them too. And there's always been the question of which one do I use? Try whichever ones you want, try whichever ones you don't want. If you try one and you don't like it, don't go back. If it's your friend's resource and you don't like it, don't feel obligated to use it again the next time because we are being bombarded with more media related sources for wellness and fitness than we have ever in the past. And I think it's important to remember that you get to choose and you don't have to choose every single one.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, Natalie. I would say be encouraged, and there's no one size fits all. Like Carly mentioned, the comparison. This is not the time to compare. This is just the time to learn more about how we're wired and what works for us.
I think the last comment that I'd say too is that there is a lot going on. I've seen just working with other faculty and staff and us trying to figure out this whole new landscape too. I've been pretty impressed to see how much everybody is, you know, putting into trying to figure this out to make this the best we can for not just ourselves, but really thinking about students too. Like I've seen a lot of effort going into trying to make this the best that we can, knowing that this is just a really strange time for students. So I know lots of different websites and different areas are putting on more virtual things, more online things. I've seen so much of that recently. So just because we're not physically together, students are definitely on our minds. We're doing everything we can to try to make this the best that we can for our students. So you definitely are on our minds still, even if we're not, you know, face to face every day.
Yeah, that's a great point to end with, Mark. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy days to chat. Really loved hearing what you had to say. And so enjoy the rest of your day, and hi to everyone out there in the Elon community, and we hope you're doing well. So Talk to you all later.